My true love is the Incredible Hulk, but my first love was Superman.
Say, Jim, woo!
Excuse me.
That's a bad outfit.
Hey, listen, you know what I like? You know what I really like? Superman. My first Superman, like many others, was Christopher Reeve, and he was great, but my introduction to the real Superman was in Man of Steel. Nope, not that one. John Byrne's Man of Steel. This 6-issue retelling of Superman's origin story was so good that it basically became the Bible that all Supermans were based on after that. If somebody said that Superman wasn't being comic accurate, it's because it didn't match up with this. Later, riding the coattails of the death of Superman, we were introduced to Dean Cain, wearing the worst Superman suit ever committed to film. The show was okay, his Clark was boring, but his Superman was pretty good. Sometimes you get the right guy for the wrong job, and sometimes you get the right guy for the wrong job. Tyler Hoechlin was a really good Superman, but when you're a superhero on the CW, your show is basically going to be about people keeping secrets from each other even after they promised they wouldn't do that anymore. After all those guys, and including Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, what really stands out for me is Jack Quaid. This Superman really gets Superman. But more importantly, maybe, it also gets Clark. He isn't just trying to look like he fits in as a regular dude. He's really trying to be a regular dude. And he's capable of having some fun with his friends. It's not the most comic accurate show, but that's fine. It has the feeling right, and it might be my favorite depiction of Superman. Until recently. I don't know if you've heard, but James Gunn made a Superman movie. Beck Bennett was so silly, and Michael Ian Black was so smarmy. They were both cast perfectly, utilized perfectly, couldn't be happier with that. It's always a pleasure to see Sean Gunn on screen. It was a tiny role, but he plays Max Lord, and he's going to be back in Peacemaker. Speaking of Peacemaker, if you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go watch Peacemaker. This is what John Cena was born for, and his little cameo in the movie was great. If Frank Grillo hadn't already been Crossbones in the MCU, he would have made a great Punisher, but instead we get Rick Flag Sr., and if you haven't seen Creature Commandos, why haven't you seen Creature Commandos? It's so freaking good. He's in that too. The Engineer was interesting, kind of like a Green Lantern with nanobots instead of a power ring. That was really fun to watch. One thing that stood out to me the first time I watched this movie, and then the second time I watched this movie, was how often they used the word shit. It's just a little weird. It was so much that it made me think of that one scene from The Wire with Wendell Pierce. Anyway, Wendell Pierce is in this movie, and he plays Perry White, and he was great. Miss Tessmacher was really fun to watch, and she was even more plot relevant in this movie than she was in 1978. Pruitt Taylor Vince as Jonathan Kent. Oh boy, I love me some Pruitt Taylor Vince. Did you see Constantine? You're not still sleeping on Constantine, are you? So good. Pruitt Taylor Vince was the priest that Gavin Rossdale killed in the liquor store. Oh, go watch that. Thanks to Justice League Unlimited, I prefer Thanagari and Hawk Girls, but Isabella Merced killed it anyway. She was Dora the Explorer in that movie. But in this movie, she is clearly done with Swiper. Guy Gardner. Oh my gosh, I love Nathan Fillion. I've loved Nathan Fillion for years. He's great, and he is just so very Guy Gardner. I can't wait to see more of this. One of the very best things to come out of this movie is Eddie Gathegi. I loved him on House. He was criminally underused in X-Men First Class, but in this movie, he has so much to do, and it's all terrific. I never gave Metamorpho a chance, ever. And if I'm being honest, it's because of the lack of symmetry. Orange on one side, purple on the other. Get out of here. But what I learned in this movie is that Anthony Carrigan should be cast in everything. People seem to like Millie Alcock's other work, but I wouldn't know because I'm not getting pulled into another Targaryen TV show like a sucker. But when her Supergirl comes back, I'm convinced we're going to have a really good time. But what I did watch was The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, so you didn't have to sell me on her being Lois Lane. She did exactly what I thought she was going to do. It was wonderful and perfect, and she was very, very Lois Lane. It's always so interesting when an actor auditions for the role of the hero and ends up getting the role of the villain. And I am absolutely considering Gene Hackman and Michael Rosenbaum when I say that Nicholas Hoult is the Lex Luthor. I'm also considering Clancy Brown. David Corenswet. Oh my god, David Corenswet. This instance of Superman benefits greatly from living in a world that is full, and we get to see what it's like when he's talking with his peers. And we get to see that when he's alone, he's still the kind of guy that says, what the hey? He saves people, he saves animals, he also gets his ass handed to him, because it's like that sometimes. A one-off story every now and then about what it would be like if Superman lived in the real world is pretty cool, but it's only part of the story. He has to deal with magic and aliens and wild technology. The first time he met Batman was in 1952, 26 years before the first movie came out. Of course, it would be unreasonable to expect them to have done more than they did back then, but they still only did what they did. And this is the first movie that doesn't treat Superman like he lives in a vacuum. And that ending. I haven't been this happy to hear Iggy Pop since post-pop depression. James Gunn's Superman is the best thing to happen to comic book movies since Superman the movie. And I really hope the guys across the street are taking notes. I could not have been more pleased with this movie, so go watch Superman and I'll meet you back here. Please push all of the happy buttons. It tells my boss algorithm that I'm doing a good job.